Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Exia. We are back at it again for round 8 at Kyalami, and it is amazing time, everybody, because we are ending of free practice and we are jumping right in to qualifying here shortly. We're waiting for, I believe it's Kevin Yu to finish up his lap going around the track. Actually, he has cut it out. I believe Farmer is the only other driver that is flying around, number 76. He's jumped back into the pits, and we have Farmer coming back around. And we have a special guest tonight here with us, everybody, as we wait this up. Mr. Christopher Shuffler, aka Shuffy Racing, aka Lewis Hamilton's #1 biggest fan, and in the hearts of Mr. Carter Bennett. Mr. Shuffler, how are you tonight?
Fantastic, sir. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Just living the life as we are starting to watch these drivers get out here in this track. For some reason, my computer did not save my broadcasting setups, but here we have the drivers coming out. And right now, I'm right along board with Tyler Farmer working his way out of coming out onto the track at Kyalami. A lot of these drivers respecting the white line as much as they possibly can. Sean New in that GTMR uh, Aston Martin definitely try to get his tires worked with Louis Bernard in that BMW right behind him. It is definitely a very, very interesting track to say the least. The track is optimum. It's as a driver, this track is so weird because of the fact that everything is fast and flowing. I mean, you're not. It's not a whole lot of like stopping and then turning, stopping and turning.
Right. It's technical but high speed technical all in the same time.
That is very true. We also have Deleted Fox in the chat saying good luck racers and hello announcer. Hello Deleted Fox. We need to get you into a sim seat and we need to get you out on track with us as well. We definitely have a lot of spots available for you.
Right. Looks like.
So looking at the timing board, we got Carter Bennett coming down and his father Casey Bennett here. Does not look like Carter Bennett's going to be able to pull a multi 21 on his father as Casey Bennett comes up to the final corner and he's going to start the provisional pole lap here unless he invalidates. Some things that we like to hear from a driver because we've heard from Alex Ardoin before as well as Farmer and other tracks that have raced. Shuffler, what are some of your key things when you qualify? Are you setting for a certain fuel when you qualify, or are you just kind of like, most them out and just hope that as you race, the laps come in?
Right. For me, usually it's as little of fuel as possible. That'll get me 3 to 4 laps. That's all I need. I don't need any. Some people set their fuel for the entire session. And that's fine. They may be able to carry that type of pace. The old 991 Porsche, I did something like that just because the car was more balanced with the weight of the fuel in the front of the car. But this year or this season, I was running the 488, and so it manages itself better with the weight. So I'll go with a low fuel. And the biggest thing is to put a banker lap in, because then I'll have something for reference with my deltas to see where my pace is at in relation to what I was doing in practice. So find a nice spot on the track. We got 23 cars on grid today, so there's plenty of room, but things can get hectic. So try and be patient. If there's a driver on a lap, give them the space because it's only gonna do me harm if I hold them up or vice versa. So keep a cool head, put the laps together, hit your braking zones, and get it done.
That's very true. As we start to see Casey Bennett coming through the final corner and onto the back straight, we also have Ember11 in the chat. Ember here for that Farmer. Welcome, Ember, as we see Casey Bennett with a 42.135, as well as welcome Marshall 88 Moss. Evening, guys. A new admin that has joined us on the Xbox side, so definitely awesome to see him coming in and joining the administration group here at GT Meister Racing. It's always wonderful to see the community grow with the drivers and everybody as well. Sean New, 1.4 back. Andre Alex Afonso in that Lambo, the triple 99, 1.4 back as well. As we see the GTMR Porsche of Alan Zhu, 3.5. Like you were saying with that old Porsche, having to allocate more fuel on the front end of that car to introduce a little bit of oversteer to make it a little bit easier on the rotation of this car. Let's take a look. Who else do we have? Marancello in the Mercedes. For those that do not know Marancello, he was a prior driver that raced in GTMR back when we first started out. As well as back in our pre-days of Breakout Racing League. So it's awesome to see him back out on track, and especially picking the Mercedes-Benz after that 1.9 update where the Mercedes-Benz definitely got a revamp here in this game as well. We take a look. We see Farmer now up to P2, up less than 2/10 behind Casey Bennett. So Farmer definitely looking super strong. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see where the rest of these drivers slot themselves in. Some drivers invalidating, some drivers not. Kevin Yu coming in 1.5 off the pole position. And it looks like we have a new pole sitter, Aiden Hasselbrock, in the Silk Cut McLaren. He wants to jump up and get a little bit further. He's now at a 42.0 here in qualifying. Now, Shuffler, as a driver, talk us through what your main things with a lap you're going through here right now. Similar to what Aiden is having to deal with. He knows he's got Carter Bennett in front of him. The pace between him and Carter is going to be a lot fast. His pace is going to be a lot faster. Talk us through what you as a driver would be going through mentally if you know you're on a flyer.
So, I jumped on board with Aiden as you were telling me to check it out. So, in this situation, if I'm up on the Delta, and what helps is in this situation, if you're in chat with that other driver, you can say, hey, are you on a lap or not? Because I'm up on my Delta. And if you look on the mini map, you can see, and he just got out of it as he goes to the top of that hairpin there. But the gray dot indicates that driver is on a lap, on a valid lap. When the indicator goes to a blue color, that means they're on an out lap or they invalidated their lap. So you can use that as a tool to understand what the car in front or behind is doing so that you can manage your lap. A lot of times it's easier just to verbalize it when you're in the heat of the moment, especially if you're up on that Delta, you're pushing hard and you're focusing on that brake zone to get every tenth that you can squeeze out of your lap to put yourself in a good grid position. But it seems like he backed out of it to go for another one, and then Carter he got out of the lap as well. So it just looked like a little bit of confusion there, but no harm done. It seems like there's still plenty of time. 17:30 to go.
And as we ride along board, Jaden Munoz up 8/10. This is your championship leader right now, but there is a 5-point gap separation between. No, actually, it is a 4-point. No, wait, 3. Yeah, it's a 4-point. I apologize, everyone. It's a 4-point gap between Jaden Munoz and Farmer. Jaden Munoz, 5 thousandths of a second right behind. No, 500ths of a second, 600ths of a second. Right behind Wilson Fernandez. And Wilson Fernandez has been putting bangers after bangers in that BMW to now put him provisional pole with a 141.6. During the practice session, we saw a lot of different feelings out of the car, of the Audi driver of Jaden Munoz. So it'd be very interesting to see where he puts himself in here. As we see Andrew Jaschke all the way back in P17 in free practice, we saw him even in that top 4 spot during the free practice spot with that Aston Martin. So the question is can he make something stick and go through? But right now we're going to ride along board with Alex LaRock, or aka La Crow, if I accidentally mess up his name. I'm pretty sure Deleted Fox is shaking the fist at me for messing up the last name. But he's up 6/10 on his time coming out of the downhill hairpin, I apologize, coming up to Crocodile here at
I want to give
Kyalami.
a I want to give a shout out to Sean New sitting in P8 right now. He's definitely figured something out with either the car or the track. Um, he's had some struggles this season figuring out, you know, his pace, and then 1.9 dropped, and that kind of threw the grid for a loop. But sitting, well, P9 now, that's still a solid effort. With the talent around, he's really showing some new pace, some newfound pace in that Aston Martin.
And he is sitting there now P9 after LaRock leapfrogged him into that P7, as well as we have Rodney Burns coming up to the final corner here. Rodney Burns also one of the newer drivers here. Definitely trying to figure out the pace. He's been jumping back and forth between the newer cars as well as these older cars, because here at GTMR we try to make sure that the drivers are running within the actual like homologation rules. We don't want to give any form of unfair advantage to the other drivers as well. So let's take a look. David Nortright in the Lamborghini here, coming from America's Racing League. He is looking super strong with this beautiful cartoon painted Lamborghini. He is definitely trying to get that setup going here. I know he said he was having a little bit of an issue with it. He was really loving the newer Lamborghini, the Evo 2. So it's definitely interesting when you get so used to a newer car, because it feels so amazing, and then having to switch back to an older car.
He actually just went P6 on that last lap just now, so he's starting to pick up the pace here as Lecroix comes across the line, and he goes P4. It's going to be a nice battle. It's half a second down to P6.
Take a look. Let's jump up. Alan Zhu, 3/10 up on his time coming around the final corner. Let's see. Jaden Munoz is P1 with a 41.5. Wilson Fernandez P2. As we see Aiden Hasselbrock up 2/10 on his time. This 2/10, if he can find more in this track as he's approaching the hill and the hairpin, he could snag provisional pole away from Jaden Munoz.
Ooh.
As we see Casey Bennett now leapfrogging Aiden Hasselbrock into that P3 spot. So Casey Bennett looking super strong in that Ferrari.
People are pouring on the pace right now. It's just the order getting shifted every lap.
I think it's also due to the fact that the track has dropped 1 degree Celsius, which is allowing the drivers to pick up a little bit more pace here in this race. As we see Aiden Hasselbrock, he's 5/10 up. If he can hold this, he could get pole position. And on the front straight, is he going to get the big toe from Andrew Jaschke on the back straight?
He
Crosses,
does.
wow, with a 41.392.
Mega effort.
Jaden Munoz definitely going to possibly have to jump back and figure something out. Let's take a look. Matt Artem, 2/10. Ooh, we just jumped aboard and he just crashed a little bit. Farmer is 2/10. The battle between Munoz and Farmer is definitely growing here. Right now, this is definitely helping Farmer out. As long as Farmer can keep that NSX stable and planted throughout the whole entire race and get a good qualifying position, this can help him out, because with the attack of Fernandez and Bennett and Aiden, it's only going to push Munoz further down the grid, to where it may cause Munoz to have a little bit of issues with that Audi in this championship battle. As we follow Farmer up the hill into the hairpin, he is 3/10 up on his time.
Casey coming through the line now. Doesn't improve his grid position.
We see Farmer still 4/10 up. The only other driver is
Oh.
Bruce Hopkins, who's up 5/10. We're going to be jumping along board with him as well in a second here. As we see Farmer still getting that 4/10, Trying to
There
utilize.
it is.
Wow, 2/10 right behind Munoz. He needs to find it as fast as possible to catch everybody. But right now, Bruce Hopkins, 4/10 right now coming through Crocodile. Really stretching that Porsche out on the dirt as he comes down into the corner. Bruce Hopkins is up 5/10. Carter Bennett just jumped to P12. Andre Alex Afonso is up 4/10, and he's right in front of Bruce Hopkins. Actually, Bruce Hopkins, 200th of a second right behind him. Let's see, Andre Afonso utilizing all the dirt and still keeping his delta good. Wow, that was very interesting by him.
Farmer knows what the time is. On that last lap he set, where that fast right-hander kink is, he went off track a little bit. Definitely ate up some of that delta that he had. So he may be able to put something together this next time by.
Andre Afonso losing a little bit of time. He was up on his delta. Now he's up to a 10th. Hopefully he can make something happen in the final corner. But right now, the biggest mover I can see in the grid is Carter Bennett, up 4/10 on his time. And 4/10 for Carter would put him up by Sean New, the other Aston Martin driver. And Afonso does not improve. Carter working his way on the downhill. If I'm correct, this is a Sean New setup. He asked for a little bit of team help with the Aston group, and Sean, I believe, was able to help him and give him something. Now we're starting to see what looks to be a little bit of cloud coverage coming in, even though it is at
Louis loses it in front of
12:32.
him.
Ooh, oh, there goes Carter. He's losing it as well. Does he
Oh
save
man,
it? No, he does not.
got that out of the wall.
And sometimes that is all that matters right now. Jaden Munoz bouncing between improving and not improving, but Wilson Fernandez is up on his time. 2/10. He's gonna commentator curse possibly. Jaden Munoz and Wilson Fernandez trying to be on the outside looking in to hunt down Aiden in that McLaren here. And right now Munoz is up. So right now Wilson Fernandez is in front of Jaden. So we're gonna ride along board Wilson Fernandez and see if he can make something happen with that BMW. Now, as a driver, I'm sure you know, Shuffler, you're constantly seeing that delta move, bounce and bounce and bounce. It's almost like you always have to never worry about what happens in the middle of the lap. You always got to worry about what happens at the end of the lap, because sometimes at the end of the lap you may be able to pull off like a tenth or two that you just didn't know that was there.
And yeah, you're exactly right. And the 10th sometimes is everything in the world to you, because it could be like right now Jaden's a 10th off from pole, so that could be anywhere on the lap. And your focus is really on the lap, and that's a habit that I still do, and I practice to break it, is to not look at that delta in the
He's got
top left corner.
4/10. Jaden's got 4/10. Can he hold it as he crosses the line? He does. He gets it.
Yep.
With a
There it is.
141.165 as he crosses the line, putting himself up to P1.
With a 2/10 gap
Now
between
here
him
comes
and Aiden now.
Yeah, Wilson Fernandez coming through the fast right-hander in the middle of the track. He's up 2 to 3/10 here. So the question is how much more is he going to be able to hold it? He really is utilizing all the track in with that BMW and trying to hold it in. He still has 2/10 as he comes down the hill here. So the interesting one is, how is he going to handle Crocodile, the corner that is right after this with the largest sausage curb in the game. Very well. Goes
Nice and
super
smooth.
wide through the final corner. So this is going to bring him a little bit closer. Yeah. Ooh,
really close.
300ths of a second from Aiden. So it's definitely going to be a tight one, especially with 6 minutes left. Now we're just getting into the finer details of these guys' laps as they are super close. You can see the grid, the separation of them. James Parks back there, 5.3 off the pace, just putting in a small banker just to get him up in the head of the grid. Based on right now, he sees that other people aren't setting laps. He's like, hey, you know what? If they can't get a full lap, why stress myself trying to put in a super fast banker? Smart on him right there, just to get going. As we see Kevin Yu here in the Ferrari, the number 13 car, coming through the final corner. See what he can do. Wow, jumps up to P11.
Yeah, that's a good lap.
0.003 faster than Sean New. Wow.
I mean, from P10 to 14 is, or 13. That those four cars are, you know, extremely tight. 0.6, all within, you know, a tenth.
Yeah. As we take a look here further down the grid, LaRock 2/10 up in the Honda, trying to catch his teammate, Mr. Farmer. Farmer has been coaching LaRock as well as Liam McNeil, a driver that is not here tonight. And we have a late visitor, Mr. Matt Byrne, the Picasso McLaren driver, who could upset everything here for Munoz.
And there's plenty of time left in quali. He's quick enough to just do an out and get up there real quick.
That is very true. So definitely interesting to see where Byrne slots himself here. LaRock is not improving. Right now, we do not have any big movers in this qualifying session. Ricky Scott is out on his qualifying lap. He's actually out on his flyer now as he's coming through turn one. A very interesting, slightly off-cambered left-hander where you have to brake around the 150 to 125 meter board, and then you're just hoping that you can slow the car down after that downhill long straightaway.
Byrne is out on his out lap right now. Excuse me, English.
It's okay. Hey, look, I'm not good at it either, so it's all right.
So interesting how he's going to spice up this grid order with a late showing with 3 minutes to go on the clock for quali finishes. I'm going to call it. I'm going to say he's going to go P4 or he'll go P4 or P3 first time by.
P4 or P3 on first time by. That is definitely going to be interesting to say the least. Ricky Scott 1.4 seconds off his delta, but right now we do not know what his last lap was because his last lap was an out lap. So that is definitely going to be interesting with that McLaren driver as he is trying to figure everything out. Let's take a look. We got Byrne, number 3. Where's Byrne on the track so far?
He's going up to the hairpin at the top of the hill.
All right.
I'm curious to see if he's going to get 1 or if he's going to have enough time to put 2 in. I think he might be able to put 2 in.
It's going to be close for him as Ricky Scott goes to P19. With a 144.9.
He does have some traffic around him. Byrne, that is. So that may impact him.
Let's take a look. The Ricky Scott McLaren, the Picasso McLaren coming down into the final corner. He's got Jaden Munoz right in front of him. And based on Jaden Munoz's pace, it's not like he's going to have a whole lot of traffic. Let's ride along board inside.
is flying.
He is definitely flying. I guess I was muted, didn't realize I was muted. So he is definitely looking super strong here in that McLaren as he comes down the hill, utilizing all of the track possible. So this is definitely going to be an interesting one for him as well. And now we're starting to get the greens of everybody else around the track. Munoz is not improving. He's actually a second off of his pace. Jashke up a 10. We have Joshua Piaski is up 3/10 on his time. So let's see what Byrne can do as he crosses the line with his first flyer. P15.
Oh, I was way off.
Well, anything is possible with him. We're going to actually switch over to Joshua Piask. He's 5/10 in the Wonder Bread Lexus. Ricky Bobby in it with Marincello in the front. See if he can get the big toe from the AMG driver. Oh, slots up to P20, leapfrogging Alan Zoo. And the timer is done for them. Casey Bennett still, he is up 1/10 on his time. Farmer is done. Jashke is done. Marincello is done. Joshua Piask is done. Here goes Casey Bennett around the final, coming up to the final corner. He looks to be calling it there in his lap. He is pulling off. Matt Byrne is, I think he may have messed up on his lap because he is not, does not look like he is improving with that McLaren. Possibly could have the wrong setup on that McLaren as he works his way down the hill.
He jumped in and didn't have pressures, fuel, so he probably threw something at the wall hoping it would stick.
Ooh, catches a lot of that dirt. He's still up 2/10. He stays at P15.
Very interesting. Yeah, just no pressures. 1.9 is definitely showing that you can't just hop in like you could before and throw a default pressure or fuel in it and then go pretty quick. You really got to work your pressures to an accurate point for them to start working. I mean, that's makes it cool.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your pole sitter, Jaden Munoz, with a 141.165. And we will do our normal in-game down the driver stand view of everybody down the grid walk. We're going to move us around here and sneak out of the Audi as well. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Humdrum Racing Team Audi. Jaden Munoz, followed by Aiden Hasselbrock in the Silk Cut McLaren with Wilson Fernandez in that BMW from the Brazilian team. Casey Bennett with the DTM Ferrari. Farmer in the all-black NSX. Andrew Jashke in the green Aston Martin. Matt Artem in the blue, what is this? AUR Sim Sports Audi as well. LaRock in the NSX. Andre Lloyd in the Marvel Porsche. Louis Benara in the Skechers BMW. Andre Alex Afonso in the 999 Lamborghini. Kevin Yu in the number 16 Ferrari. Sean New in the GTMR Aston Martin. Carter Bennett in the Verstappen Championship Red Bull livery. Matt Byrne in that Picasso painted McLaren as well. Then we have Bruce Hopkins in the Porsche, followed by Rodney Burns in a Porsche as well. Then the 777 Marincello in the Mercedes-Benz AMG. Ricky Scott in the Knox Racing McLaren, followed by the Wonder Bread Ricky Bobby. Joshua Piask in the Lexus. And then we have the GTMR Porsche driven by Alan Zhu, and also the livery designer of the GTMR liveries in that beautiful neon green Porsche, followed by James Parks rocking out a GTMR livery. Awesome to see him rocking that as well. And then we have uh, Courtright in the Lamborghini cartoon painted scheme here as well, followed by Dominant Square in the humdrum McLaren. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Round 8 at Kyalami. This is your starting grid. We have a minute and 40 seconds counting down to figure this out. And we're going to jump along board and talk to our driver and guest announcer, Mr. Christopher Shuffler. What is going on in your mind right now as an announcer and as a driver for these drivers? What is going on in your mind during that timer countdown?
So my countdown is just to collect my thoughts, go through my setup one last time, make sure that I haven't done something incorrectly as far as what my pit strategy is going to be. It is a mandatory tire stop as it's been all season, so I make sure that I have my pit strategy and my pressures matching what I'm starting the race on, and that I have my starting fuel and my pit stop fuel, because there's no sense in taking a full load of fuel. It's much quicker to take a split fuel. I usually go long, so my first stint is usually around 40 to 45 minutes, and I'll end the race on low fuel with fresh tires. So right now, with 30 seconds to go, the drivers are starting to get ready to hit drive, so that they don't accidentally start from the pit road. And my mind is, be calm, cool, collected on the out lap, and then get ready to hit that green light and push, but be careful into T1. You got to be, it's aggressive with caution. Is the best way I could think I could say it.
That is very true. Aggression with caution.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it's attack, but be very careful when you attack.
exactly.
As we start to see the driver's countdown is coming to an end, and we'll start to see P1 rolling out here as well. For the viewers that are watching, if there is a driver that you want to see, please let us know, and we'll definitely go take a look at them. I know Deleted Fox wants to see the Mr. Alexander LaRock here in that animated inspired NSX GT3, sitting P9, 3 spots behind Mr. Tyler Farmer, his Honda NSX teammate, as we see Andrew Jaschke warming up his brakes through the whole entire grid. Hopefully he does not do that when the race starts. So we see also Mr. Tyler Farmer coming around here in the all black NSX. We're waiting for the camera to spin around here. Tyler Farmer, a championship winner here at GT Meister Racing. He's had a lot of issues with that NSX in 1.9, but he's been able to rally around that car, been able to focus, get things to work. He's been looking very, very well, so that is very awesome to see him and see how he performs well in that NSX. And a lot of the big movers that I could possibly see happening in this league is Mr. Matt Byrne, a consistent top 5 driver here at GT Meister Racing. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how he performs in this grid with a lot of the other drivers on the track as well. Between him as well, I'm going to have to give a huge shout out to another driver that possibly could move up a big part of the grid is Andre Alex Afonso. He started with that Lambo. He's been working with that Lambo all season, but he's been strong through us all season and prior seasons. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see where he finishes out. Is there a driver that you think can be a big mover and a big shower in this race?
I think as far as movers up the grid, that I expect it because I know his skill level is there, but I know he has a deep fondness for Kyalami. Watch out for Louis and that number 12 BMW, the Skechers BMW. I think he's going to be moving up the grid. Maybe not initially on the first few laps, but overall pace over the hour, he's going to be a mover, barring any mishaps.
And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers are starting to line themselves up and they are starting to get side by side. Everybody's trying to warm up their brakes, their tires, and everything possible. As you can see, Burn up in the front of the grid. He, of course, is going to hit his brakes and get out of everybody's way here. Definitely interesting to see a top 15 driver all the way up
He's
there in the.
trolling. Oh, he got kicked to the ground.
And he got kicked to pit lane. I don't think that's really what he was hoping for, but this could help him out as we start to see the drivers line up. They will be getting set to get going here. So we see them come around one last time and onto the main straight as we wait for the green lights. Green, 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 and away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden getting a beautiful run on Munoz at the start. Munoz falling back. That's going to allow Munoz to get swamped by everybody else. Aiden covering the inside. Now Munoz having to slide out to check out of it. Then we see Farmer, KC, Bennett, Wilson, and they all freight training through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Everybody looking super clean as they come through here. As we see Farmer trying to keep that NSX on the back end of everybody. Matt Artib looking super racy with Andrew Jaschke right in front of him as we start to see the grid pile through here in the back of the grid here. As we see Aiden still working his way in front of Jaden Munoz. Question is did that mess up Jaden Munoz at the start of the race? Because usually a lot of these drivers, they prefer to start in the front because they can flow through the track a lot better here as they go. Matt Byrne being able to be released out of the pit as early as possible here. As we see Joshua Piast, we're going to jump back down the grid here. He's sitting P16, Sean New in front as this battle develops. Kevin Yu making his way around Andre Alex Afonso as he's now starting to chase down Andre Lloyd in the Marvel Porsche here as the grid is working their way through. Beautiful, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump along board right back up to the front. Aiden Hasbrock now with Munoz on the back end of him with Wilson Fernandez, Casey Bennett, as well as Andrew Jaschke as a freight train coming up to the final corner and onto the main straight. See a little bit of dirt kick up there by Wilson Fernandez in that BMW. We saw him in qualifying being a little bit sketchy as he works his way through. Aiden now about 5/10 ahead of Munoz. Farmer sets the fastest lap. Farmer definitely feeling it with the NSX here at Kyalami.
You see Louis gone. Louis picked up 2 spots on the opening lap. But that was interesting to see. There's been a couple moves that are pretty impressive on the opening lap, being that you're on cold tires. Really good driving overall.
Yes, we are seeing beautiful driving as we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the rest of the whole grid. Everybody going nose to tail as they work their way through. We're going to quickly jump right back down board to Louis Badara on the back end of Matt Artem. Matt Artem dipping a little bit into the dirt. Louis wanting to drive the new Lamborghini. He keeps telling me, why can't I? And he is just having a blast with the old BMW. He is super strong. I'm going to call it next season. He'll probably drive the old BMW. As we see him go through. LaRock trying to now chase down Louis Bernard to make up as much pace as he possibly can. But Kevin Yu on the back end of Andre Lloyd. He's trying to freight train himself through here. As well as we drop back down, Joshua Piast and Rodney Burns going side by side down through the left sweeper. Joshua Piast cuts the nose off of the Porsche. The Porsche trying to figure out what to do there. And the Lexus driver managing to hold out with Ricky Scott on the outside, looking in, trying to figure out a way to squeeze through here. Joshua Piast definitely showcasing super strong pace and performance with that Lexus. Huge shout out to him. Now Rodney Burns getting attacked by Ricky Scott behind him. Ricky Scott definitely having to try to make something move here. He's been having a little bit of a struggle since the 1.9 update, but he's been able to bring it back in here with that McLaren of this the 84 car. Now he's going to try to make a look on the inside of turn 1. Rodney Burns is going to possibly shut the door. He does. Ricky Scott having to check up the brakes. Now we're going to slot our way back up to the front. Matt Byrne all the way in the back there trying to reel everybody in. 8.9 off the pace of Marincello. So there is a possibility of him moving up. Aiden Hasselmark not able to shake Munoz. Wilson Fernandez with the fastest lap. So 1 through 5 is definitely picking up pace as we go around the track here. Well, you can see Aiden's car definitely being pushed to the limit with that McLaren sliding around as much as possible as they work their way up the hill to the hairpin.
Yeah, Aiden's been doing some defense, running some defense because Munoz is starting to pour it on, and Aiden's really gonna have to pay attention to his tire management. If he's doesn't have the pace early, it'd be in his best interest to let him go and try and get him on the pit cycle. Especially with Fernandez right there.
Ooh, as we switched cameras on Jaden Munoz's car, because Jaden was taking a look on the inside on that downhill left-hander. We saw in the rear bumper of that Audi a whole lot of Wilson Fernandez. With Wilson Fernandez being super fast, is Farmer going to make a move? We saw him look at it from the outside in at sometimes as they come up to turn 1. Let's take a look on the inside of Farmer and see what he sees out of these 3 drivers. As he himself with a Ferrari on the back end of him as he comes through this track here. Man, these guys are definitely putting on a show as well as everybody else further down the grid. We're going to slot down a little bit more here. Take a look. Matt Artem still has Louis Benara, LaRock, Lloyd, Kevin Yu, Andre Alex Afonso, and Carter Bennett in the tow as they chase down Andrew Jaschke and that Aston Martin as they cannot separate themselves from this pack here. Now this is a definitely an interesting one to say the least. In about 3 minutes, pit window opens up. Now with that being a factor here in this race, a lot of these guys I don't think are going to be diving into the pits within 3 minutes to try to do a tire change, especially and to take on more fuel, because that just seems like a lot, especially with 1.9. If you accidentally mess up your tire pressures and you run too low here with 1.9.
Yeah, you're gonna chew through the tire. Not to mention the added weight. That's not the optimal strat to take on a full tank this early in the way this race is formatted.
As we see everybody, all these drivers are seasoned GTMR drivers. Munoz trying to go on the inside, Aiden covering the door, definitely giving him the least amount of space as they work their way down the front straight here.
Squeeze him.
Munoz is going to get the inside line, but can Aiden outbrake him side by side? Here they go. Wilson Fernandez takes a look. Oh, but Wilson Fernandez is going to have to check up as Aiden now loses it, but this could be helpful. Aiden definitely overworking his tires based on Munoz pushing him. So like you said in that strat, let him by and then now put the attack on him. But the question is how much was Aiden holding Munoz back during this race here? Hopefully Aiden can put that pressure back on Munoz. Oh, Munoz goes super wide. Here comes Aiden on the attack. Aiden takes a look, sticks his nose in there. Munoz leaves the gap. Munoz is back and steps out. Here comes Aiden. Oh, up to the fast left and right sweeper on that downhill piece. Wilson Fernandez can feel it, breathe it. He sees them as they come through, as they work up to the hairpin.
And Casey's taking a look at Farmer as well while this is going on at the front.
Take a look here as this battle develops. We'll have you keep an eye on this for us as well. We're going to move down further in the grid and take a look at everybody else. Here we see a little bit of separation here of the grid based on the drivers as they come through here. But right now, Sean New on the back end of Bruce Hopkins in that Aston Martin. Is he going to make it stick? He looks like he's going to line something up on the Porsche driver. He does not. Now Ricky Scott and Joshua Piask as well. Oh, looks like Joshua is out of the race. Curious on what happened there. But right now, Ricky Scott, Burns, and Allen Suit battling it out here in this race. Sad to hear about. Sean New losing the back. And curious on what happened there with Sean New as well. As we see Matt Byrne working his way on the back end of this grid. Now let's slot our way back up here as we see Jaden Munoz now separating himself 6/10 from Aiden Hasselbrock. Aiden Hasselbrock seems like he was the catalyst to hold Munoz back here in this battle.
I think he hurt his tires pushing so hard in the beginning. That's why I mentioned maybe letting him go, because now he's having to defend on, slightly overheated tires against the quicker Fernandez.
That is very true. Wilson Fernandez with the fastest lap also here in this race. Maybe be a better option, as bad as it sounds, to let Wilson Fernandez through because he has that pace to take to Jaden Munoz.
Right.
Right now, I mean, you're not helping yourself here in this race, but at the same time, you don't want to give up too many places and then be pounced on by Farmer and Casey Bennett there, because they are on the outside looking in, but it doesn't help to allow Munoz out as we see Wilson Fernandez take a look on the inside.
Definitely a tough call to make when you're in that type of situation. Looks like the rest of the grid has settled into a nice little comfy spot, just trying to click their laps, not make any mistakes. As Jaski's trying to close the gap between him and Casey and get in this top 5 battle.
Take a look a little bit further back here as we see Louis Benara, LaRock. They're staying nice and tight to Matt Artem. They know he can pick up a little bit pace in this race. You having that driver in front of you, even if it's within a second, it helps you push yourself on that racing line. It doesn't allow you to just kind of slouch a little bit as the race goes on here.
Correct, yeah. Especially if you know the guy and you know his pace, you know that you can, trust his ability or his craft, and you can kind of settle in and either hope for a mistake or just, hopefully his pace is strong enough that you guys can both drive to the front.
Take a look down further back as we have see not right. He is right behind Dominant Square. Dominant Square going super wide all the way in the back there. Byrne now managing to get himself up to P18, 4.4 off the pace of Alan Zhu. I have a feeling Byrne is taking the most amount of fuel and is going to go for the ultra long strat. Just try to punch in the laps and hope for the best. And now Aiden Hasselbrock, 1.2 seconds from Jaden Munoz, as Jaden now sets the fastest lap with Wilson Fernandez in the background. I mean, honestly, if I had the delta up and I checked and it said Wilson Fernandez 1 second ahead of Farmer, me as a driver, I would be like, all right, you know what? Maybe I'll let Wilson through a little bit and keep going. But we know a lot of these drivers here in GTMR are super competitive and super, resilient. They just want to stick in and keep pushing themselves.
Absolutely. That's the dilemma that you face as a driver, is making those in the moment the hot seat call, because we all want to stay in the position that we gained or that we earned, and as you see, Aiden probably got a little sideways in that corner there, but it's tough calls to make. You got to think about the long run, not about the next lap.
That is very true. Ooh, Wilson Fernandez losing it a little bit out of that fast right-hander, that fast downhill right-hander, which I know for me as a driver, when we were doing our GT4 race on Tuesday nights, for those that would like to join us, GT4 Tuesday nights will be moved to Wednesday night. Especially in the Camaro, you hit that fast downhill right-hander, and occasionally you have to downshift a little bit just to get that front end to dig and want to rotate. So right. I could see where sometimes you're like, well, what if I just stay in this one higher gear and see what happens? Sometimes you carry a little more speed than what you really want to.
Right, yeah. And it doesn't rotate as well as you expected either, so it end up playing catch up in the middle of a corner.
We take a look. We're going to slot right back down to Louis Benara. Looks like he had a little bit of an issue. He's actually fallen down the grid, down to P13. He was all the way up there with Matt Artem and LaRock. So right now he's going to have Andre Alex Afonso chasing him down, and Andre Alex Afonso is a very quick driver. These two guys are going to be battling it out, and it is definitely going to be a tough one, to say the least. Ooh, Louis gonna, no, he's not. He's choosing not to dive into the pits. That was a very interesting call there. But now that's going to mess him up because he did that. Now it's going to allow Ricky Scott to take the fight towards him. And now that whole momentum that Louis Bernard had is now going to be gone. You know, if I was him, I would have just chosen to just go right into the pits, serve it. Now Ricky Scott's going to try to send it up on the inside. Louis Bernard now having to go a little bit deeper and stay a little bit more shallow. Now he's going to lose that spot. See, that's
He's got
the
front
issue.
end damage as well. Oh, Fernandez on the inside of Aiden right now. Oh, gets touched wide.
Oh,
Farmer goes through.
Oh, here comes Casey. Wilson Fernandez now being able to cover up the inside, but that's going to allow Farmer through. So now Wilson Fernandez is going to try to make something stick. Now the question is, that BMW is super wide for those that do not know. This is how wide that BMW is in the view of the driver of Casey Bennett here as he comes down into this right-hander. Ooh, as we see Aiden hitting the curb, he bounces a little bit. Oh, Farmer right in front of him trying to pounce and not making it stick. You can see in the rear view camera on the inside dash part of Wilson Fernandez, that Ferrari, the Red Bull Ferrari of Casey Bennett, all over him. As we see these drivers, beautiful driving by all these drivers. I mean, true spectacular racing. I mean, these guys are just, you know, I love, even though I'm the league owner and some may say this is bias, it's not. I honestly, a huge respect for all these guys racing so nose to tail for literally 16 minutes so far. I mean, honestly, it's truly an honor to have these guys a part of the league. Here's Wilson Fernandez now taking a look around the outside as Farmer covers the inside.
AC behind.
Ooh, now we're starting to see Matt Artem chase down Andrew Jaschke as well.
Fernandez has got to be careful with his looks at Farmer because he's going to give Casey an opportunity, and Casey will take it. He will happily take a position off of a mistake from a driver in front. Munoz is starting to check out. Gonna have 2.7 gap to Aiden.
As we see Farmer now trying everything he possibly can. He's been able to reel in Ian Hasselbrock, which is good, but it doesn't help him in the long run. Now we're going to jump down to Bruce Hopkins because Bruce Hopkins is...
Yeah, I was just clicking down to check that out. He's 3/10 behind Carter Bennett.
As well as Louis Bernard is 3/10 behind Ricky Scott here. What is Bruce Hopkins going to do? Ooh, Carter's going to cover the inside. Bruce is going to try the outside. Down into turn one. Is the switchback going to work here? Carter utilizing a little bit of his F1 tactics here. He covers it over, but Bruce in that Porsche having a lot more rotation than what usually that Aston Martin can produce. Here, Bruce is trying to utilize all that acceleration.
Louis went for it on the inside of Ricky, got up on the curb and lost some time to him, but he has time to get back to it. He's still carrying some front end damage from that incident he had earlier.
As we see, we're getting close to about 30 minutes left of the pit window. Bruce Hopkins, one of the E-Seniors drivers, very nice gentleman driver that we have in the league, nose to tail on the back end of Carter Bennett. Definitely
Casey.
My
apologies. Something happened to Casey. He dropped back from Fernandez, and now he's got Jaschke right on his heels.
With Artem in tow. So the battle for P5 is very developing. It is growing greatly. So let's see where this is going to sit us in the overall championship standings here in this race. With this race here. So right now, We have Jaden Munoz with 137 points, Tyler Farmer with 133, Wilson Fernandez with 88, Andrew Jaschke has 87, Casey Bennett with 62, and then we move down to Artem. Artem has 53. So this is definitely helping out
Oh,
Casey
and
Bennett.
Fernandez loses it into the wall.
Ooh.
Casey's going to take the position. Jaschke's going to be looking for that as well.
Oh, Jaschke sends it up on the inside. Can he make it stick? But the BMW driver fighting back. Ooh, Wilson Fernandez looks for it. He sends it up on the inside. Oh, beautiful racing here.
Wow.
Is Jaschke going to try it? I don't think Jaschke should. Just check up, stay right behind Wilson Fernandez. Let Wilson Fernandez take the fight. You know what I mean? As a driver, that's, you know what I mean? You got someone as Wilson Fernandez's pace.
Yeah.
Check up right behind him. Not saying that Jaschke's slow or anything, but utilize Wilson Fernandez to take the fight to Casey Bennett to give you a little bit of that, you know what I mean? That chance to where he may make a move on Casey. Casey may leave the door a little bit more open, and then you can slot right in. As we see Munoz now 3.5 seconds ahead of Aiden Hasselbrock, separating himself in that little happy zone.
And I'll add to that with the Fernandez incident. Jaschke knows that Fernandez has damage, so he just bides his time. He definitely hurt his tire with that big slide into the wall. So there's real no excuse me. There's real no gotta get it done now. There's plenty of time. Just under 40 minutes of this race left. So he can definitely make the position change happen real soon.
We take a look here. Bruce Hopkins, we're going to jump along board. Bruce still on the back end of Carter Bennett. Carter Bennett having a lot of issues with Louis Benara. Now finally reeling in Ricky Scott. Louis Benara still with a lot of that front end damage. Matt Byrne, P16. Byrne is probably wishing he didn't try to run that super late run here in this Louis Benara taps the back end of Ricky Scott. Oh, that is definitely not going to sit well with the stewarding meeting when it gets it going here as well. Farmer still 4/10 back behind Aiden Hasselbrock. Farmer knows he needs to get as many points because after this week is the makeup race of Watkins Glen as we go through there. And so Farmer's definitely going to need as many points as possible here in this race. As we see Wilson Fernandez still trying to reel Casey Bennett in that P4 spot with 38 minutes left in this race. So now we're getting close to that 38-minute mark, towards the halfway mark. As the driver, Shuffler, how are you looking for your strat?
So for me at this point, it's still not the halfway point. So I would still have probably 8 to 10 laps of fuel remaining in my car, just because I prefer to run a heavier opening stint, run clean, consistent laps, fast as possible, obviously, but take care of the tire as best I can so I can have as fast as possible in lap, and in lap being the lap that I'm going to pit on, so that I can mitigate any undercut or overcut protection against the cars around me. And then what that does is also I'll be coming out on fresh slicks on low fuel for the remaining, say, 20 to 25 minutes, where I can just all out blitz the last 20-25 minutes. That's my strat. Not always the best depending on the track. So I do play with the times a little bit depending on the track, but anywhere between, I'd say, 35 to 45 minute stint for my opening stint. So there's some drivers that'll probably pit in the next 5 minutes right at the halfway point, but I think the majority are going to start pitting the minutes after the halfway.
Yeah, as we see Ricky Scott diving into the pit, Wilson Fernandez all over the back end of Casey Bennett, Farmer all over the back end of Aiden. Aiden now 3.9 seconds off the pace of Munoz. Anything can happen with the Farmer. Ooh, nice recovery. As we see Matt Artem now trying to attack Andrew Jaschke as they come into the hairpin. the driver that we were talking about. You know, he was, you know what I mean? Just because he has a bad qualifying doesn't mean he's going to have a bad race. Matt Artem, nose to tail. These guys have seen each other multiple times on the track here as everything develops. For the viewers that are watching, let us know, what are your thoughts of this race? As we see Matt Artem taking a look on the inside and outside of this, of his Aston Martin. He is definitely trying to make it stick here and work. Afonso's about a second off the pace of Carter Bennett, as well as Matt Byrne. Now half a second off the pace of Louis Benara. Let's see if Matt Byrne can make it stick on Louis. Will he pull off a masterclass? He goes super shallow, then cuts back. Tries to set Louis Benara up to go wide. Ooh, Louis does go wide, but so does Byrne. Ricky Scott was one of the first few mid-pack drivers to dive into the pits, do his pit rotation. Oh, we're going to jump back up aboard Bruce Hopkins here as Bruce is trying the outside of Carter Bennett. Carter going to cover the inside. Bruce is going to get it to stock. Andre Alex Afonso tries to cover. Carter covers the door there. He's saying, nope, sir, you are not trying to get a freebie off of me. Carter getting a beautiful run out of that corner there as he chases down the Porsche driver, Bruce Hopkins. Into the hairpin they go. Andre Alex Afonso is going to try the all the way around side to go on Carter Bennett. The Lambo driver trying to make it stick with the Aston Martin as they work their way down the hill. Let's take a look. Where is that Lamborghini? It is on the back end of him as they come through. That Aston Martin trying to make it stick. He goes super wide, but the Lambo gets a nice run to keep it going. We are having battles all over the grid here as these guys are trying to make something stick. As we see Byrne got past Louis Benara there as this battle was developing. I think a little bit of the downfalls is that Aiden Hasselbrock is stretching the track limits to the T. The issue with this track is the parts that allow you to stretch to the limit, it's like Brands Hatch. Yes, there's the little like grading things right there to let you go out there to not get messed up by the grass, but it's the fact that it just stops instantly, like for like a couple feet, and that grass can really throw your car off.
Oh, absolutely. There's just completely different traction. So depending on how the car is being thrown into it or how it makes contact, can really toss a car around, especially under braking.
And with this battle developing, with Aiden falling off on the pace, I'm thinking he destroyed his tires. This is allowing Casey Bennett and Wilson Fernandez. Farmers into the pits. Ooh, this is the first of the front runners. So now this is going to allow Wilson Fernandez to kind of have a little bit of free reign to make the attack. Sometimes drivers, when we want to take the fight to other drivers, it's a little hard for us to make the move because of the car that's in front of that other car, because you don't want to send it deep and then realize, oh, there's a car right there, and make a mistake here. So it's definitely be interesting to see where Wilson Fernandez takes the fight to Casey Bennett, but at the same time, you know what I mean, you know, is Casey Bennett going to step it up a little bit here in this race and pull a little bit more? Kevin Yu is in the pits as well. He is having a beautiful race as well as Andre Lloyd, the 937 Marvel Porsche. He is doing wonderful as well. Let's take a look here. We got Andre Alex Afonso here and Matt Byrne with Louis Benara chasing him down. Louis like, you are not getting this free one from me.
Farmer's leaving the pit road now, so he may be, if he's lucky enough, depending on with some lap traffic and pace from the other drivers, he may be able to protect his position.
Ooh, we got Bruce Hopkins here skipping a little bit as he's flying around the track. He looked like there was a little bit of a connection issue. Looks like Bruce is going to be pulling off on the track. which is very interesting because for the whole entire race he wasn't having any issues.
Aiden's in the pits.
You see Aiden dive in. Now that's going to allow Wilson Fernandez to keep taking this fight. Now the issue is Matt Artem is in the pits as well. Now we're seeing this battle between Carter, Alfonso, Byrne, and Louis Benara. Now the question is how much is Byrne going to try to get into this battle? And he's been working his way up the grid from the pit lane area due to the fact that he made a mistake of not being in his spot where he was going. Louis trying to fake nobody out behind him going into the pits.
Fernandez is carrying damage as well with Casey right behind him, so that may play into the strat. I wonder if Fernandez is going to have that damage repaired so that he can get back to his upfront pace.
That is very interesting to say the least, because it could be, it could be one of those things where it's just body work and it has nothing to do with suspension. But
Right.
based on what you were saying with him slapping that wall Alfonso loses it a little bit. Oh, here comes Byrne. Byrne trying to pounce as much as he possibly can. Oh, through the fast left-hander. Oh, you can see the wiggle out of Byrne's steering wheel when he comes through. This left-right chicane complex, this downhill-uphill section, always throws me off, especially when you're following someone, because Byrne gets the snap. Here comes Louis Benara. Oh, both drivers losing it a little bit, causing now them to have an issue here as Louis Benara, getting a little bit slow out of that acceleration there, and that's just giving Carter a little bit of breathing room. Carter is being blessed right now by the Kyalami gods in this race. That he's able to hold in as much as possible with Byrne. Now trying to chase him down. Question is, who is the next one to dive into the pits here in this race? Because Louis losing it.
It's Alfonso.
Louis dives into Alfonso pits and Louis pits. Now Byrne is going to have free reign to attack the youngster in the Red Bull Aston Martin. So it looks like Hasselbrock has been able to secure a very good pit strat here in this. He is 3.9 seconds ahead of Farmer. So this is definitely helping, Aiden. It's definitely helping Aiden out, because right at the time, Farmer was about 6/10 right behind him. So hopefully this strat that they're trying to pull will work, and Jaden isn't trying to throw it away a little bit.
Aiden's gave himself a fresh start essentially by managing where his position was on track before the stop. So now he just needs to take care of that tire and really push those last 15 minutes without damaging the tire. He's a really fast driver, but you can damage tires as Fernandez dives in with Casey going through.
So now this is going to allow Casey to be in open air to run, no dirty air out of that BMW. The question is how much is Fernandez going to sit in the pits? Is he going to repair anything, or is he just going to hope for the best?
Sure. I'm curious what he's going to do.
But right now the closest battle is the youngster Andre Lloyd in the pits as well. It is the youngster against Byrne. Picasso versus Verstappen. It's paintings that we don't know about.
Going in.
Oh, so now this is going to allow Byrne to just hot lap mode. I've seen Byrne do this before at Misano in the Apollo series. Super long pit strat, go super deep into it, hope for the best. We know he's a fast driver. The question is how much is this going to help him out in the long run? As we scroll down here, Louis Benara now on the back end of Alex Alfonso here, set about a half a second. These are all fresh tires. Looks like Louis didn't fix anything on that BMW. Doesn't seem very critical for him to fix.
Interesting, because Louis' front of that car was pretty tore up. the car must still feel fine enough to manage the pace he's got just to bring it home.
Oh, Wilson Fernandez is out of the pits, and Aiden's on the back end of him. So that means Wilson Fernandez did not fix anything. So now he's going to have a very hot set of tired McLaren on the attack for Wilson Fernandez. But we saw what happened to Aiden last time. Munoz is in the pits. But we saw what happened last time. Aiden chewed up his tires for being super aggressive. But Wilson Fernandez is going to make it to where that BMW is super big. As we go along board on the inside cam part of it, you can just see how big that BMW is with that rear wing. It is astonishing.
Aiden's job right now is to get past him as quickly as possible without doing too much damage to the tire.
LaRock in the pits, Burn in the pits. Continue, I apologize.
No, all good, all good. As Fernandez gets those tire temps up, he's going to start pouring on the pace as well, so it's going to be much harder for him to continue this nose to tail for much longer, for just under 25 minutes to go.
As we see Munoz, he is coming out of the pits. He just came out. He is into turn 1, so that's going to give him a healthy separation between Wilson Fernandez, who will be your P3 driver, depending on where Casey Bennett pulls out as well. Casey's still out there not having to pit. Jackson not having to pit. Bruce Hopkins not having to pit. Alan Zhu not having to pit. And Byrne is sitting in the pits. Interesting question is Byrne taking damage, or is he calling it a race? Oh, he is moving. As we also see Alan Zhu and Andre Lloyd, the two Porsche drivers, they are battling it out. Ooh, Lloyd taking a look inside, outside. I always love, as a commentator for the viewers that are watching, I always love seeing two people battle. And then looks like Alan Zhu left his blinker on. He's probably trying to... Oh, man. He's going to let Andre Lloyd through. Beautiful job there, trying not to fight and argue anything. But as a commentator, I always love seeing it when two people fight and the one guy just kind of holds his line, doesn't move around a lot, nothing. But then you got the guy in the back that is like wiggling around, trying to dodge, trying to look at holes, corners, everything, you know, the whole map. It's just like, it's like, just follow the guy.
Right.
As we see Bruce Hopkins in the pits. Munoz now jumping, leapfrogging. Now the question is, where's Casey Bennett coming out? As he now just crosses the exit of the line. So this will slot him right in front of Matt Artem if he can get a beautiful run out of the exit. And he does. He's going to have Farmer right in front of him. So he's going to lose a couple spaces. But, you know what I mean? But overall, his strategy was strong. He stayed ahead of Matt Artem. He's going to get good amount of points. Artem is behind him in the championship standings. Casey with 62, Artem with 53.
And there's still 22:30 to go, so there's a lot of racing left to be had.
That is very true. As we see Aiden, he is now 1.2 seconds off the pace. Now we're going to drop back down with Louis Benara and Matt Byrne, these two best friends, as I'm going to call it, with Andre Alex Afonso. It looks pretty interesting that Louis Benara's car almost looks identical to the Lamborghini of Andre Alex Afonso, like they're almost like teammates here in this race.
Yeah, they definitely got the matching neon with the blue.
Louis trying to take a look on the outside with Afonso on the inside, now covering Byrne. You can see him in the background in his rearview mirror trying to take a look. Oh, that tap of the brakes when you're coming up to the fast left-right throws you off every time as a driver. You don't know how the driver is going to set up as they work their way up to the hairpin.
Like Louis to the back of this Lambo.
I think Louis, as a, you know, try not to be biased here, but I think Louis needs to arc his trajectory line on that hairpin a little bit wider to carry through. I feel like it's hurting him right now in this race with Matt Byrne up to P13. Byrne now on the back end of the BMW of Louis Bernard. The question is, how much more aggressive is Louis Bernard going to be with Andre Afonso here in this race? Because I'm sure you know, as a driver, sometimes getting attacked from behind is going to cause you to want to attack more.
Oh, and Carter goes. Sorry.
Ooh,
Carter just loses the position.
Ooh.
He took that crocodile curb too much and Pogo sticked off of it, and he kept it on the track. Well, kept it going forward, but lost the position. He's gonna try and attack that back going into T1. Looks like he might get it done.
Ooh, side by side they go. We got it on the big screen. Ooh, Bruce Hopkins.
Oh, side by side. Oh, wow.
Beautiful racing. Carter catching a little bit of the curb on the inside to get past Bruce Hopkins. As Andrew Jaschke dives into the pits, Louis Bernard, Afonso Byrne, they are still nose to tail chasing each other down.
Louis definitely has more pace going up to the hill, so let's see if he gets this hairpin correct this time.
Looks like he corrected his line, like he did what I said.
It is much cleaner on the inside, yeah. See if he can carry that momentum into this braking zone. Not quite on this one. Oh, a little bit, no.
But he caught a little too much of that inside curve, which caused a little bit of the back end to step out as we are in the helicam as they come through. As it looks like Kevin, you lost it there in Crocodile. As the drivers managed to pull themselves through without having any issues. Let's take a look. We're going to drop back down real quick. Take a look at Bruce Hopkins here. He's on the back end of Carter. Is he going to make it stick into turn one? Is he going to make it happen with this Porsche? Carter covering the inside. Bruce is like, all right, fine. You want to play that game?
I'll make push it wide. Some really good driving from these drivers.
Very good driving, as we saw Bruce just catch a little bit of that dirt and lose it. So he's going to have to actually catch up. But let's bring back that P11, 12, and 13 battles. Byrne. Oh, Byrne makes it around Louis Bernard. Now he's got his shot after Andre Alex Afonso. And Byrne used to usually racing against Andre in the Apollo Racing Series. So this is definitely going to be like old times for Matt Byrne here against him. So now Louis can use this to his favor. If he can line it up and use Byrne to set this up, he could get Afonso. Also, Afonso adjusted his line to shoot himself out super wide there. You could definitely see Louis Bernard being able to brake super late down into that final corner. The BMW driver getting a very good run on him as they approach into turn one.
Louis.
Is he going to send it? He does not. He backs out of it as they go through.
He took a peek.
Can Byrne make it stick? He knows he's got the pace. He knows he can chase down Afonso. Here they go. Can the Picasso car take on the two team cars? The team that has no name. As we see Byrne now on the left-hander as he comes through. Ooh, catching a little bit of that curb on that downhill. Oh, Afonso loses it a little bit. Byrne sends it on the inside. He saves it, though. Louis down the grass. Oh, Dirt Rally 2.0 saved Louis Bernard there. Now Benara and Byrne are battling it out. Afonso losing the back end. Byrne had nowhere to go, but right next to him in that battle. Oh, what a shame for Afonso there in that race as well. So we're going to drop back down board. Let's take a look at Bruce Hopkins. Hopkins got past Carter at some point.
Hats off to Alfonso for holding that pressure for as long as he did. It's really good stuff. That's a lot of work to put in to defend against Louis and Byrne.
Now, he didn't lose a lot of places, but he did lose a few, but he's still going to be able to sit there and take the fight and be there with Kevin Yu in this battle for P12 here.
Sean New is starting to go down the hill behind Rowdy Burns into that heavy braking zone right-hander.
Yep, here we go. Let's take a look on the inside. Oh, they're going to have Al and Zoo right in front of them. As they're going to have the leader right in front of them, Jaden Munoz, catching up to them here shortly. Now, if I was Sean, I would use Jaden to help you out to take that fight to Burns as well coming up in here as Sean New goes super deep down into turn one. So we're going to jump along board Casey Bennett because Casey Bennett is 3/10 off the pace of Farmer as this is a battle for P4 here in this race.
Oh, Casey goes under.
Farmer covering it off. Here goes Casey. Can he make it stick with the DTM Ferrari? Ooh, Farmer goes super wide. Here comes Casey side by side, the drag race. Side by side through the fast right. Oh, Farmer covering as much as possible. Here comes the switchback possibly.
Oh, some good battles, man.
It is definitely growing here in this race with Casey Bennett. Hopefully trying to pull out a strong finish, but Farmer needs it to keep himself with Munoz in this championship series. We have 13 minutes left to play, and the drivers are doing the best they can. Ooh, looks like Andre Afonso, it's like something happened with him on the track. It's like he possibly overcooked his tires. Now he's going to have Bruce Hopkins on the back end of him in this battle here. Bruce Hopkins now nose to tail as they work their way through. Ooh, Afonso with a lot of front end damage. You can see him. The front end is very wiggly here as he's trying to find that grip on the front end of his car. Bruce taking a look on the inside. Afonso's going to give it to him. Very good there by that driver of Afonso. Honestly, Afonso, I would have to say, is probably one of the most respected drivers in the league. He knows when to fight and knows when not to fight. He's not going to try to have, like, 30 seconds worth of damage and then try to fight against him.
Right.
Someone and ruin their race. As you can see right now on the big screen, he is pulling over to the side.
His steering's all crooked.
Oh, he's going to have to... Curious of what happened with him there in that.
He lost the rear end coming out of that left-right combination, and then just put him in the middle of the road, and Byrne made contact on his right front wheel. So I wonder they probably bent his tow rod. He's going into the pits now.
Yeah, because I do know that before when we switched over to him, he was off the track out of turn 3. So the question is did that front end damage mess up his car when he was trying to go through that corner and
Possible.
that bend? But as we see, Louis Benara still trying to hunt down Byrne in that P10 spot as they go through these corners. I just want to give a huge shout out to all the viewers that are still watching, still participating, and still being here and still supporting us. It's truly awesome to have you guys all here with us as we watch these amazing battles for the next 11 minutes as we see everything develop here in Kyalami. Ooh, you can see Burns' car step out a little bit coming out of that hairpin. Question is his rear tire starting to fall off a little bit?
Seems like it. I know that the Macca is a pretty oversteery car, and it's manageable, but once the tire starts to drop off, it could be, and yeah, he's starting to
Ooh,
struggle with
that
his grip.
wiggle. I think is Louis gonna start pouncing? Is he gonna?
Both go wide.
Oh, now Louis in the attack mode. He must have the stream up because now he's hearing it.
Oh, Matt's pulling over.
Ooh, something must have happened with Matt. Ooh, he's coming across back over.
That's an interesting way to defend there. I didn't.
It's a
Especially
very,
right at the pit exit.
It's a very interesting strategy. I mean, usually we say do not cross the line if a car is coming out, which a car is not. So, as we see, Andre Afonso is probably going to be calling it a night as he's going to be sitting in the pits. What a shame for him. I mean, he is such a wonderful driver. I mean,
yeah, he was doing real good job all race until that one incident, and just unfortunate.
I mean, it happens to the best of us. Even you know, Aiden, Munoz, Fernandez, myself, you.
Myself, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you push yourself to the limit here in these races. A lot of people just think that you're just sitting in front of a computer and turning a wheel, but you know, some of these cars produce, you know, enough force to where, you know, you're getting a whole entire upper body workout. So the mental strain of it.
Yeah, I have to stretch my right. I have bad shoulder mobility, so I have to do stretches on my shoulders because I use a lot of my shoulder strength to turn the wheel. Casey's still holding a 2/10 gap to Farmer.
See, Louis
Oh,
Bernard.
4/10, excuse me.
Louis Bernard gets a lot better on the brakes against Byrne, but Byrne manages to get him coming out of that corner. And Byrne is able to just get a little bit of a separation from him. But now we're going to jump along board because this battle is kind of becoming a bit of a stalemate as I say that. Louis Bernard goes super deep into a corner. But we're going to take a look at Sean New, Rowdy Burns, and now Alan Zhu with Aiden Hasselbrock coming through. And Alan Zhu is trying to allow the leaders through here as this is developing. But now, you know, it always happens every race. Everything seems to stall out, and then right around the 8-minute mark and left, everybody's just like, all right, let's throw Exia off. Let's have an awesome battle here.
Right, yeah, he's clicking all over the screen trying to catch all the battles.
Yep, as we jump back down and speak of the devil, Casey Bennett on the back end bumper of Farmer here.
He's gonna have a good run.
Ooh, Farmer goes super wide, side by side. Here they come down the back straight.
Full drag race, T1.
Is Farmer going to squeeze him down into turn 1? Oh, he switches down. Casey switches back here. Ooh,
he's sacrificing the entry for the exit. It's smart.
Oh, wow. Farmer managing to pull off that.
Oh, Farmer.
Oh, Casey sends it deep. Is he going to get him? Oh, wow. Here they come up to the fast left-hander here. Can Casey hold off Farmer? Farmer's been able to hold a tighter line around here. You see Casey catch a little bit of that dirt, get a little squirrely here. Ooh, Farmer now in the attack mode. Can the all-black NSX be able to take the fight to Farmer here?
I think Farmer's starting to struggle with tire like Matt is in the McLaren.
Ooh. We're going to drop back down and take a look at that battle that we saw earlier.
Sean went off at the hairpin.
Oh. Now Sean's going to have to try to get out of the way of Casey Bennett here with everybody chasing him down. But we also have a battle with Rodney Burns and Alan Zhu. So right now, as the battles develop on the track, this is going to be an interesting one to say the least, because you're seeing these two guys battle it out, and then you've got 4 and 5 freight training super fast as they catch up to him.
We
As
have a
the leader.
Porsche on Porsche battle back here in P16-17 between Zhu and Burns.
Deleted Fox in the chat say, go LaRock. LaRock, he is P8 here in this standings, and that's actually going to help out LaRock because he's 7 overall in the standings, and he is just right behind Casey Bennett, so he's going to need all the points he can get to move up here in this fight. So
yeah, he's sitting comfortable with plenty of gap in front and behind, so pray for a freebie in the front, otherwise bring it home. 5 minutes 25 to go.
So 16, 17 battling it out. P5, P4 and 5 are battling it out as well. As you can see them right in the background, the Red Bull Ferrari now actually separating himself from the all-black NSX. Now the question is, Alan Zhu stepping it up as well. I'm wondering if they have the stream up as well. Like, you know how you get into those modes where you're not really paying attention to what people are saying until you just hear your name and you're like, oh yeah, I have to race.
Right, I gotta pick it up.
As Burns going super wide, I don't know if that's to kind of set it up. Ooh, he's going the on the grass route to let the flyers through, but this is going to allow Sean New to come down in the attack as Matt Artem comes swinging in. Now this is going to help out Sean New with his initial incident, because now Sean New is on the back end. Ooh, that
just
was
way too deep.
Way too deep, way too hot. I think he got a little bit too rowdy, hoping for something there. But
and that was Rowdy trying to be extra generous to the guys on the lead lap. I think a little bit too generous in my opinion, sacrificing a lot of time or position on track, and ultimately got him entangled with Sean there, unfortunately.
That's true too, as well. As the leader Fox says in the chat, no, LaRock is number 1 overall, not 7. And then I think
he's number 1 in your heart.
Number 1 in your hearts, and number 7 in the brochures, ladies and gentlemen. As we see Farmer chasing down Casey Bennett, Andrew Chashke diving into the pits.
What happened there?
Interesting
Oh,
one.
He's got damage.
He has damage. The P10 driver has this is going to... Oh, Alan Zhu moving out of the way. He's going to try to let Farmer through. Farmer knows it's in that weird spot. Alan Zhu's going to allow him to probably get it up on the inside here. Working up. Yep, Alan Zhu is moving out of the way. He's going to allow Farmer in. Beautiful move by Alan Zhu to let these guys through as they come through. So Sean New working his way. He's back up on Burns. Let's jump down here with Sean New. He managed to reel in Burns, but the downside is that's going to separate Burns from Zhu. Burns gave a lot of space for Mike correct. But it was a Burns that came from America's Racing League. I believe so.
Yeah. Rowdy came from ARL.
So these two drivers are probably used to seeing each other, which is which is awesome, because it brings in a lot of that the camaraderie of the drivers here in the league. As we see Farmer now still trying to make it stick here, with Artem now catching up to Alan Zhu. So a lot of these drivers that were usually a little bit further back in the grid, due to a lot of these front runners having issues with damage or falling back, you know what I mean? It is really helping them out in the long run, because now a lot of these drivers that you don't usually see up in this top 10 are going to get massive amounts of points here, because for those that do not know, in GTMR we pay out for the top 22 in the standings. So this is definitely awesome, to say the least, for a lot of these drivers. We have 1:42 seconds left to play. Here comes Farmer. Ooh, you see the wiggle out of Farmer's car. The tires are shot. He is definitely, you can see it on the downhill left, right. You can see it, the number 97 car of Dominant Square seems to hit the Crocodile. He is off the track.
So Jaschke back on the end of lap 25 got killed by the crocodile. Bad front end damage, and he's just dropped down the order.
Yep, Dominant Square trying to get going, trying not to get into anybody's way. Good on him for staying off the track. You can see he's pulling off right now. He's going to allow Aiden right by. Beautiful move right there for us. As we go through, Jaden Munoz with the fastest lap, your leader with 51 seconds. And champion leader, this could lock out the championship right here, right now at Kyalami with where Farmer is finishing. Because right now he has a 4-point lead against Farmer, and this will give him 25 and 26. So this race will be, as long as he crosses the line with no damage with the 25 seconds left, because this will be the final lap for him, he will become the Season 6 champion in ACC PC, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just incredible pace from Munoz all season. Been asking myself as a driver where he does it and how he does it, and I just haven't figured it out. I've learned some things this season for sure, but the pace that Munoz has is just absolutely incredible.
I think a lot of it has to do with Fortnite reflexes and Red Bull.
Yeah, and I never played Fortnite, so that might be the problem.
You know, it's
Never been a fan.
It's a young kid thing. As we see Ricky Scott battling with Carter Bennett here, right in front of the championship leader. Ricky Scott trying a very risky outside move. Now here comes Jaden Munoz. Ricky Scott still sending it up. Jaden Munoz here now about to cross the line. As we see, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Jaden Munoz with the win at Kyalami, their P1 finisher. We're going to jump back down the board because Ricky Scott and Carter Bennett are still in the battle. Wilson Fernandez P2, Ada Hasselbrock P3. Casey will cross with P4, and then Farmer P5 as well. But right now, this battle between Ricky Scott and Carter Bennett is going to go to the wire, as well as Sean New and Rodney Burns. If you can keep an eye on Rodney and Sean New, then I'll be able to jump back and forth between the two. Allen Zoo crosses the line. Burns finishes. New finishes. Dominant Square finishes. Ooh, Ricky Scott going super wide, still catching the dirt. Carter Bennett covering as they work their way down the hill. Beautiful run by Ricky Scott as they work their way back up. Ricky Scott's going to have to make an audacious move here. Down in the hairpin. Carter covers. Ricky throttles through. Ricky trying to stick the nose in. Carter leaves the door open. Here comes Ricky. Down the hill. Side by side they go, possibly. Here goes Ricky. Carter catching a little bit of the dirt. Oh, Carter loses it. He got a little too audacious. Overshot the corner right there. That's going to allow Ricky Scott through and to get the finish place of P11 there. Carter Bennett losing it out there, catching the curb and just coming back on the track with dirty tires and ruin it there. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. P11 and 12 crosses the line, and there you have it. That is your race as we are waiting for Andrew Jaschke to cross the line here.
Well done. Incredible race. All race. It was battles all the way up and down the grid.
Jaden Munoz with your Season 6 championship lockout in P1, followed by Wilson Fernandez 2, Aiden Hasselbrock 3, Casey Bennett 4, Farmer 5, Artem 6, Lloyd 7, LaRock 8, Byrne 9, Kevin U 10th, Louis Bernard 11, Ricky Scott 12, Carter Bennett 13, as Zoo 14th. What a beautiful run for these drivers as well. Thank you guys for the viewers that are watching. It is truly an honor to have you guys here with me, as well as my co-streamer, co-announcer, Christopher Shuffler, who has just joined us as well. Thank you for joining me here in this stream.
Oh man, thanks for having me. I had a blast. Got to do it again one more time. That'd be really fun.
Well, hey, I'm always open. And for those that are unaware, please let me know. We will be I'll post it up on our Instagram. If you check us out at GT Meister Racing on Instagram, you'll find us there. We'll definitely post up some links for the stream for the. If you could let everybody know, Shuffler, it's the 8-hour endurance event tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow 7 a.m. Odyssey Racing League is hosting an 8 hour, and there's two GTMR teams. Myself, Farmer, and another driver, Zach Hendricks, are taking the new 992 for 8 hours around Nürburgring. So that'll be a good battle for 8 hours. And then Aiden Hasbrock, Lou Benora, and Sean New, who you just saw race, are also taking. I believe they're also in the no, they're in the Lamborghini. They're in the new Lamborghini tomorrow morning for 8 hours as well. So we're gonna go try and show out and promote the league, and try and bring the league home some hardware.
And it's definitely going to be an amazing one to say the least. Definitely to see how the drivers do here in this overall endurance event. I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to stay awake as much as possible to see it, especially in the morning. It's definitely going to be awesome. We see Deleted Fox in the chat. Good job to all the racers and the announcers. Thank you very much, Deleted Fox. You're my number one fan. I won't tell LaRock. And then Rodney Birds with the celebratory little emoji. Definitely huge shout out to you, Rodney Burns, sticking it through in the race. You're definitely moving up the ranks here at GT Meister Racing. You're doing extremely well. And huge shout out to all the other drivers that participate, as well as the viewers. You guys being here, definitely watching the stream as well. It's truly an honor to have all of you guys here. Next week, we race at Watkins Glen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be our season finale. It's going to be our makeup race as well. Um, for GT3. So that will be an amazing one to see which of the drivers through 2 through 28 possibly could bring in the overall standing points. Because as of right now, without the standing points here, you have Tyler Farmer with 133, Fernandez with 88, Jaschke with 87, Alonso 74, Casey Bennett 62, LaRock 61, Lloyd 59, Aiden 53, Artem 53, Carter 50, Alex are doing 43, Taco Man 40, Burn 32. So there's a lot of points on the board for a lot of these bottom drivers to move themselves into the top 10. So it is definitely going to be an amazing battle. And I'm just going to say thank you guys very much for participating. Um, and yeah, I mean, for a little bit of a sneak peek for next season, I've thought of the title for the season. It's going to be called the Dirty Chicken Season.
I
Um,
love.
for those that don't know, I like to have a specialty style like design or name or something like that for the season. So it's going to be the Dirty Chicken season. So it's definitely going to be a little bit of tracks with a lot of spice and a lot of challenge for the drivers. So it's definitely going to be interesting to put them through their paces as well. Again, guys, for those that are new and that have watched and want to be a participant to it, we still have spots open for drivers if they sign up to make it into Watkins Glen. They can. So yeah, it's definitely going to be awesome to have all of you guys here as well as for next season. So we are in the works of an enduro season for what's possibly going to be Saturday night. So for those that are interested in that as well, definitely check us out on thesimgrid.com. Just go to host and then type in GT, and then you'll find us. We should be at the top row there as well. And then if you're interested in racing in Xbox, we definitely have a tier for Xbox as well. But yeah, that is everything. Shuffler, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, man, thanks for everybody for hanging with us. That was a fun race, front to back, battles everywhere. Some unfortunate stuff, but that's racing. That's what we sign up for. That's what we love to do it. So thanks for having me, Exia, and I look forward to Tuesday. I'm P2 GT4, so let's get it.
Hell yeah. And you guys have a wonderful weekend and a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.